Oh, and also, because this is airing on Saturday, we don't say reference today as being Thursday.
Yeah.
So, earlier this week, we blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Kind of stuff.
Gotcha. All right. You guys are ready? Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my special co-host, non-fan of Pacific Private Money. Mark Hunt is still off. He's still vacationing, that rascal. 3 weeks.
3 weeks is winding down, though. Next week is the end of his trip.
It is. So he'll be joining us probably in a week or so. Okay, our phone number is 888-912-1190. You're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. And those certificates are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. By the way, and if you don't want to do a tanning and you do happen to live in Marin, we have another certificate we can give you, which would be for the gym guys, where it's a gym that actually comes to you via a van with all the equipment. Pretty cool. Today's trivia theme is random trivia. Nam, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Jason Holmes. He's a real estate broker here in Marin and owner of Holmes Bureau Real Estate. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, guys.
This is your first time on the show. Can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been in real estate?
Sure. I started real estate 17 years ago, and I was with you, in fact, at Zip Realty, one of the first internet real estate companies, before Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, or Realtor.com, and have been at it here in Marin, breaking into the luxury market over the last 17 years.
And you've done quite a few transactions in Marin.
More than 500.
Yeah, I'd say you're one of the top Marin agents. Probably one of the top agents in the Bay Area.
I'm top 1% in Marin, but I don't follow the rest of the Bay Area that closely.
Well, being top 1% of Marin is enough, so that's
Yeah,
great.
really.
It's lots of deals.
That'll keep you going. I'm just going to get right into a couple of questions here. So we get questions periodically. It depends on what guests we have on, if it'll be appropriate. So this one seems like it's appropriate for you. It says, I'm planning to list my home in August. What sort of things should I prepare for in order to make the sale happen as quickly as possible?
Well, of course, you should call me.
Yeah.
No, but definitely deciding on the right real estate professional is critical. And then that real estate professional should have a team behind them. And you don't want to just throw your house on the market. It's important for you to stage. In today's market, you need professional photography and you need landscaping. I mean, every house is different. So what you need depends on your house.
Yeah, I got to say that the staging, even though it's expensive, it seems to work well because you can sell your house a lot faster than if it just sits around. That's a killer.
Well, and you make more money. That's the most important thing.
Good
Our
point.
job is to get our clients the most amount of money. And I've had multiple occasions where the house is vacant. We did beautiful professional photographies. Sorry, I know.
Yeah. Never get it. Just tilt like this.
Beautiful professional photography,
Yeah.
and then we put it on the market. It didn't sell, and so I said to my client, "Well, you either need to reduce the price, or you need to stage it."
Yeah.
Most of the time, they opted to stage it, and then we, at the same house, we took new photographs, put it back on the market at the same price, and got multiple offers in the same market. I was absolutely blown away.
I guess people can kind of more imagine like living in it when it's got furniture.
Well, even if you're living there, it's important to have a stager come through and just take out your personal things, bring some woven tchotchkes and some colorful paint, and it's amazing how well that works.
Yeah, I've sat in on a number of open houses before where there was no staging and the sellers had just all of their stuff. And you hear the comments of buyers coming through, and a lot of times they can't make that mental connection between how they would want to live in the house and place their furniture versus being sort of stuck and seeing what's already there.
Even if you have good taste, sometimes it's just not appropriate for the house. And so I realized that when we were moving from our other house years ago, and the realtor had said, yeah, we're going to stage it and all that. And even though we had nice furniture, it turned out okay because we were going to move out anyway. And the kind of furniture the stager put in, I looked at it and I thought was kind of hideous. But the thing is, I'm not going to live there.
Right.
If you paint the walls pink with green polka dots and that's what's going to sell, that's what you do.
Indeed.
Right.
And they know what's current and what's hip and what buyers are looking for. So I just do what they say no matter what.
One thing I also noticed, or I think you do too, is oftentimes you have pre-sale inspections. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I'm 50-50 on that.
Okay.
Why is
Depends. Well, I've had a couple situations where you get the pre-sale inspection and it shows a bunch of hidden damage that we didn't know about, say, under the house. The buyer then reads the inspection, and the inspection reports are written very negatively.
Yeah.
That's the job of the inspector.
Yeah, they don't say, what a beautiful house this is.
No, and so
Yeah.
before a buyer makes an offer, they read all that stuff. And most of the language in those reports is very negative because they're covering their back end,
Exactly,
really.
yeah.
So it's worst case scenarios over and over again, and it freaks buyers out. And I feel like a termite inspection is not a terrible idea, but sometimes, depending on the house, of course, a home inspection can get you less money, right? And the idea is if you have an inspection up front, you don't have to negotiate in the escrow, and the escrow won't fall apart because of the negotiations. But I disagree with that usually because if the buyer is at the inspection with their inspector, they see these issues that aren't that big a deal, even though they seem like a big deal when you're reading them. And then even if they want to ask for money, say they find the roof is bad,
Yeah.
so they ask you for 20 grand for a new roof, you usually negotiate to 10 or 8 grand.
Yeah.
So if you
Or
head
you
off
say, let me go put the roof on, and put on like a normal looking roof, for maybe 8 or 10,000.
right, but the inspection might scare a buyer away. Instead of offering you $1.3 million, they might offer you $1.25 million because they think there's going to be problems. So I'd rather be at $1.3 million and have to give them 10 grand for a roof.
Got it.
But I go back and forth.
Yeah. It's probably every situation's different.
Indeed.
All right, so we're going to cut to our first commercial break here, and again, we're talking random trivia. Now, okay, here's our first trivia question. And if you know the answer, don't answer it until we get back, all right?
Okay.
Don't always tell guests that. All right. What was the name of the IBM supercomputer which defeated chess champion Garry Kasparov in a 1997 match? All right. Call 888-912-1190 to answer that question. If you're the first one, you have a choice of either the tanning certificate or the certificate for the gym guys, but only use it if you're in Marin because that's all they service right now. All right, don't touch that dial. The best of investing will be right back. All right. So that was our first quick
job.
segment. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Very good.
Yeah.
You know, one thing, it's really hard to remember because it's very easy to just do this, but you
It
can
did.
hear yourself
I blew it the
when
first.
you come out like
Yeah,
that.
I heard it.
That's
After
why
that, I just stopped looking at numb.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I'm usually
okay.
very polite when I
Yeah.
talk. I try
Yeah.
to look at both people,
Right.
but
Yeah,
if I just look at you, I'm okay.
yeah, and that's
But
why
it's
you
good.
talk
I mean,
to.
yeah. I'm new at this too, so.
The fact that's the only reason we wear the headphones.
So we can hear it.
Oh.
Yeah, because otherwise, who
You
cares?
can't tell.
Okay.
So that's it. All right, well, that was
Oh yeah, hopefully I didn't ramble too much.
No, you're perfect. Good job.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
never knew like how much time I had because the staging story I use constantly because it helps sellers realize they have to stage. But I didn't want to ramble. I didn't know, you know, I didn't
no,
want to
you
go on
didn't
too
ramble
long.
on and on.
Yeah, and also,
And the pre-inspection is a really complicated issue.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
but no,
sorry.
you have a good answer though.
If there's a
Very
question
well.
you want me to ask,
Yeah,
let me
please.
know, and that's something we'll save for the future too. Like if there's one like a softballs, just whatever softballs to,
Sure.
and then also we'll Edward say how do people reach you?
Yeah.
Like that. So
We'll do that when we get back.
I encourage people to Google me
okay.
because there's like hundreds of reviews, so it's really good.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
if they
That's
Google
awesome.
Jason Holmes, it's always really good.
What any other questions you want me to?
Your other question was about multiple offers. I thought that was fairly interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can speak to that. I mean, I can talk about the Marin market, and
Yeah.
I can talk about anything that has anything to do with Marin real estate. I
Okay.
can talk about architecture. I can talk about market trends. I can talk about whether or not the market's going to be slow in summer again, or what's going to happen
Market
annually,
trends are
or
good.
when you should put your house on the market. There's a million different things.
You know
I'm
what?
very-
Market trends would be good because people want to know. So market trends.
Yeah, I mean, we're still low in inventory. I always have a spiel about the market because you see people in the supermarket and they're like, "How's the market?"
Yeah.
So you have to tell them,
Right.
you better be ready. And it's always changing. I actually, this is the first time in my career I've ever used the word balanced to
Really?
speak about the market. Well, it's still a seller's market under $1.5 million, hardcore,
Uh-huh.
but over $1.5 million is a lot slower.
Really?
And so
Okay.
overall, while it's still a seller's market, it's definitely a little more balanced. For instance, if your house is on a busy street, or you're in a bad school district, or you have something, right?
Yeah.
There's always something about a house. If you're one of
Right.
the ones that has you've got 100 stairs from the garage to the front door. Those houses are having a really hard time right And so over the last 5 years, while we've held these gains, every house has been selling regardless.
Right.
And so we're starting to. So that's why I'm saying it's becoming more balanced.
Okay.
Balanced in that a buyer can negotiate with a seller on a house right now.
Okay.
If the house has some sort of issue that makes it negotiable.
Right. And yeah, so buyers have a little bit more.
But under $1.5 million, it's still full on seller's market.
Okay.
You better sell your soul if you're gonna win.
Really? Okay.
People are still waiving contingencies. You know,
Are people? Anyone still coming in all cash? Is that all cash
Yes.
still out there?
there's tons of all cash out there.
Tons of
But
all
cash isn't necessarily king
Right. Okay.
because I'm getting into it. But
Yeah, well, okay. Well,
if you're a seller and someone offers you $1 million all cash, and someone then is getting a loan, they have 30% down, and they offer you $1.1 million, but they're getting
Sure.
a loan, it's $100,000 to
Right.
wait a little longer to see if
Okay.
they're going to loan.
Yeah, okay, let's, if we move this a little bit closer there,
Yeah.
that'll be good. And then
I'm just going to look at you.
ask.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
exactly.
speaking to you. Nom doesn't exist.
Well, he exists, but you don't have to look at him though.
He's just a,
Okay.
a little fairy on my shoulder.
Yeah. There you go.
Why isn't
Sorry, I called you a fairy. Nom.
cash
Hey.
king? Okay, that's what I'm gonna ask you. I'll just ask you, why isn't cash king? You know, was your that?
I mean, it's king in that if both offers are the same price, the cash will win.
Of course,
Right.
and just explain
But
that.
people don't even know why the cash will win.
Right. Yeah, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money. Question was, trivia question. First one was, what was the name of the IBM supercomputer which defeated chess champion Garry Kasparov in a 1997 match? Anyone?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Deep Blue.
T-Boy wants
Deep Blue. Okay. Now, before we get to our guests, we do want to make a mention here for the San Francisco Theological Seminary. So if you're thinking about a wedding venue, family reunion, or a place for you, just you and your friends, check out the San Francisco Theological Seminary in San Anselmo. They have a 2-story, completely remodeled Victorian, which features 6 spacious rooms and 3 full baths. You can have 14 guests if you could sleep over, or 50 people just at a reception. Memorable event you won't soon forget. Call 415-451-2836 or go to www.seminaryevents.com. All right, Nam, you want to reintroduce our guest?
Yeah, with us today is Jason Holmes from Holmes Burrell Real Estate. He's one of the top 1% of real estate agents in Marin County.
All right. And off the air, we were mentioning, or we were talking about something, and I wanted to bring this question up. You said sometimes cash isn't king. I mean, you always hear that term, cash is king. But you said, well, not necessarily. Why is that?
Well, I mean, if you're a seller and you've got 2 offers, and one's cash, and the cash is $1 million, and then somebody has 25-30% down, and they offer you $1.1 million, it's $100,000. So most sellers want the $100,000. Every now and then they'll counter the cash offer to see if they'll come up. But if the person getting a loan will pay a little bit more, generally the seller will take that money over the cash.
So I guess part of it also has to do with the fact that the odds of the person not qualifying or, things going wrong with the loan.
Well, most people who are making a loan are using a pre-approval letter, and most good realtors have a relationship with the other realtor, and you use a pre-approval letter from a local lender that people know, and so there isn't a huge risk. Of course, there's no appraisal contingency and there's no loan contingency if you are getting cash. If you have a cash offer, which is better because there's 3 things that can go wrong, right? There's something wrong with the house, it doesn't appraise, or they can't get a loan. So to eliminate 2 of those is very important. However, if somebody's offering you $20,000 or $30,000 more, and all you have to do is gamble that your house will appraise, when 99% of home purchase, this is an unauthorized stat, by the way.
Yeah.
But most of the homes appraise.
Well, they do because it's theoretically willing buyer, willing seller.
Indeed. And the house is worth what the market will bear, and the buyer is the market.
I wonder where appraisals don't come in, accurately, so to speak.
I have an opinion on that, but
Go
it's
ahead.
rather rude. I have a lot of respect for the appraisal community. However, I think if it's a purchase and it doesn't appraise, it's generally an arrogant appraiser. It's almost irresponsible, I think, especially if there's multiple offers.
Sometimes you have appraisers who aren't familiar with the area. Is that part of it?
Sometimes, but less these days. The lender doesn't choose the appraiser anymore, and it goes through a service,
Mhm.
right, a third party,
But the-
and
but
that
they-
third party uses mostly local appraisers because I'm seeing the same people all the time.
And the appraiser does get a copy of the contract, doesn't he?
Of course,
See, what would happen if you didn't? Would it still
it would
come
be really hard.
up? I mean, because they're going to try to cover themselves by being ultra conservative.
Well, sure. If you
Right.
get a refinance, you'll notice that number always comes in a lot lower than market because they're being conservative on the bank's money, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Okay. So before we forget, Jason, how do people get a hold of you? Because I don't know how many people are familiar with your firm, Holmes Burrell Real Estate.
I'd say more and more. It's only
Yeah.
5 years old.
Okay.
My name's Jason Holmes, Holmes. I would have them Google me. There's hundreds of reviews online. Or, of course, I'm a slave to my cell phone, and that's 415-686-0589.
All right. Let me ask this question here. We also have, which is, I've made offers on 2 homes so far, and both times I lost. However, on the first property, the agent showed my offer to the seller right away, and the other time, the agent only took on the same day.
Took offers on the same day.
Oh, took offers on the same day. Gotcha. Why the difference?
Well, it depends on the seller and the listing agent. Primarily, most agents around Marin set an offer date. So, you list it on a Monday, you do a broker's tour on Thursday, you do a Sunday open house, and then you look at offers on Monday or Tuesday. It's civilized. You give everyone a chance to see the house. You can feel like you've had enough exposure.
Yeah.
However, I don't always set that offer date. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, our price is a little high. Let's kind of see how it feels the first few days. And if nobody says they want to write an offer, I don't set an offer date. Because if you have an offer date and you don't get an offer, it's bad. People will lowball you the next day, right? So it depends. It's because there was an offer date set or there wasn't an offer date set by the seller and the listing agent. That's the simple answer.
Okay. And I know in San Francisco, not as much in Marin, people were purposefully putting their houses like well below, hoping to get multiple offers.
That's East Bay. Yeah.
Now it's moving to the East Bay.
No,
Okay.
the East Bay is always done it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear the East Bay is really, really hot right now. Oakland, Berkeley area.
Indeed.
Okay. How's Marin?
Under $1.5 million, it's red hot for sellers. It's a very good seller's market. Over $1.5 million, it's slower than it's been over the last few years, but still not dead. I think we were talking off the air about this is the first time in my career where I've used the word balanced to describe a market. And I'd say the high-end market is balanced in that it's not necessarily a seller's market, but it's also not a buyer's market.
And you're still seeing all cash, some all cash offers.
The higher the price goes, the more all cash we find.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
It is interesting.
So I guess the rich get richer.
Well,
be
and
nice.
also, I mean, you're not going to do 20% down on a $4 million house because your mortgage payment's $20,000 a month.
But then you still have to come with $4 million cash, right?
I guess if you're in that category, you might
You don't
have.
care.
You're
Yeah.
smart enough not to pay $19,000 in interest every month.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're going to cut to another commercial break. I know it goes pretty fast here. I do want to tell everyone that last week for Father's Day, my family, what we did was we went to the Broadway Under the Stars at the Jack London Square Ruins, they call it, in Glen Ellen. I don't know if you've ever been there, but we had a phenomenal time. These guys are so good. It's the Transcendence Theater, and they're going to be having more performances going on, so you got to check them out at Transcendence Theater. Just go to bestnighthever.org. That's actually the name of the website because it's easy to remember. And I got to tell you, some of the some of the songs they did were better than the original artist. They did Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen. They did it better than Freddie Mercury. And then
Really?
they did, yes, they did, and they did Frozen, the main song from Frozen.
Let it go.
Let it go, exactly.
Yeah,
And
sounds-
yeah, and I tell you, they did it better than it's the best version I've
Better
ever
than the
heard.
original.
Better than the original.
Oh,
Well, it's because
I'll bring my
they
kids.
had 3 women singing it.
Okay,
Maybe that's the reason. Okay, so check them out, bestnighthever.org. It really was the best night ever. Okay, so next trivia question. In the human body, what mineral is necessary in the production of hemoglobin? All right, it's more for the oxygen carrying mineral. Oh, no, this. He must be a chemist.
He looks like he knows it.
He knows it.
the answer.
All right, so call 888-912-1190 to answer that question, and you win either the tanning certificate or the certificate for the gym guys. But again, only take the gym guys if you live in Marin, because otherwise it's useless to you. In the human body, what mineral is necessary in the production of hemoglobin? Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Right on the mic. All right. So, Nom, we're going to move over to you. What time do you have to leave?
I got time. 4:30ish.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
40.
we'll be done by 4:30.
Okay.
We should be.
Because this will be good. You can ask Nom some questions too when we go for it.
So let's see.
Special.
Nom was my boss's apparently.
Is that right?
For a while there.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know that
Who was
district
above the
directors were ever really bosses of.
Well,
of,
real estate brokers aren't bosses either.
Yeah.
1099.
Right,
But
right.
we were W-2 employees, so
I know.
indeed they were bosses. They
Put it
Yeah.
that way.
Technically, legally, but
Legally.
but really in spirit,
No, that's why nobody made phone calls, right?
Yeah,
They didn't have a real
totally.
boss.
no. If they came from traditional, they're like, I'm not doing, not reporting to anyone.
It's near impossible. They will make phone calls.
God.
I'll just introduce you and you say what
Oh,
your
we're already
company
back?
does. Yeah, we go quickly here.
This thing.
Okay, ready? Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nom Phan. And first of all, we want to thank Jason for being with us. Again, Jason, give out your information.
Sure, I'm Jason Holmes with Holmes Burrell Real Estate. You can reach me at 415-686-0589, or I encourage you to Google me.
Very good. All right, here we go. First of all, let's answer the trivia question here. In the human body, what mineral is necessary in the production of hemoglobin?
Iron.
Iron, that is correct. Bing, ding, 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 ding.
I'll
Very
take
good.
the mobile gym.
The mobile gym?
Yeah.
All right.
He's got a really bad poker face.
Yeah. No, he looks good. All right. So, you are what do you do for Pacific Private Money?
So I am the director of business development and marketing for Pacific Private Money. We're based out of Nevada.
And remind the audience, what does Pacific Private Money do?
Pacific Private Money, we're private lenders to borrowers in California. So we're Plan B when Plan A, conventional financing, is not available for borrowers. And there's a lot of reasons why borrowers may need Plan B. A lot of our business comes from our mortgage banker peers, loan officers, banks, you name it, realtors.
Okay. Since we like to talk about stories here, give us what we call the deal of the week.
Yeah, we've got a few. We're often talking about the deals of the week on the show, and a lot of times we're talking about the same ones. Which this week there are a few very similar. It's just the most common type of loan, private loan that we get from mortgage brokers, and that's in this case we have a borrower who has their home on the market in Marin, looking to purchase in Fairfield. Their home is currently on the market in Marin, but the close of escrow on that home is not going to happen the same time that they need to close on their Fairfield purchase.
Okay.
So it's a common loan, a bridge loan that Private Money does, where we can cross-collateralize. We can actually provide one loan on the two properties so that borrower doesn't have to worry about the home that they live in selling on time. It gives them a lot of flexibility time-wise to get into Fairfield home or acquire the property, make any repairs to it, and move in before selling their current property. Or gives them time to get their home ready that's on the market to repair and make it marketable. Like Jason said, they're staging the home and things like that. And that's what's critical, because most banks won't make a loan or two loans to a borrower because they say you can't afford two mortgages.
Gotcha.
For us, it's about the story. We know that they're going to sell their first home in order to finance the purchase of the second.
And then, so you would get your loan crossed on both properties usually?
Exactly, and then we get paid off when they sell their home, their first home, or they pay down our loan.
Okay, I mean, based on that scenario, it doesn't seem like a terribly risky loan.
No, it's short term.
Yeah.
It's typically, it's an 11-month bridge loan. Oftentimes we get refinanced out within 4 to 6 months. I mean, I think the shortest was 3 weeks, and there's no prepayment penalty. So
I use hard money often. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios where you need it. For sure.
What do you usually charge your borrowers?
typically 9 or 10%,
Okay.
and 2 to 3 points.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say that if you get paid back too soon, it's really the points that are going to really kind of help your company.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And Going feeding right into this question that we received. It says, I'm an agent who recently sold a property to a borrower who obtained their loan through Pacific Private Money. Where does Pacific Private Money get their funds?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's the other side of our business. So the first side is we make loans to borrowers. Second is we get those funds through high net worth or accredited investors throughout the country who are looking for high returns. Because we charge 9 to 10%, we can pay a return of 7.5 to 8% to those investors, and we have hundreds of them who provide us the funds that we make loans to, we utilize to make loans to those borrowers.
And what kind of collateral? If someone is a high net worth individual who wants to earn 7.5+%, what do they? Where's their security? What do they get?
So they're putting their money in the fund, which is an LLC. They're shareholders in it. So the fund makes these loans. The asset is the properties that we're making loans on. The very conservative fund, it's 56% loan to value ratio. So
that is conservative.
Yeah, very conservative.
Okay. So it's not just a blind situation. I mean, you guys are actually doing real loans where you have real security.
Yeah, if an investor wants to, they can do a title search. We provide them, first of all, with the portfolio of all the loans currently anytime they want to see it. They can do a title search and see that we are on, the Pacific Private Money Fund is in fact on title.
We like transparency, don't we, Jason?
Indeed.
What kind of loan default history do you guys have?
So we've been in business since 2008. We've funded well over 1,200 loans. We've had maybe 2 dozen or so loans go default, but maybe we've foreclosed on maybe 6 or so.
Yeah, I was going to say, because of when you file a notice of default, that doesn't necessarily mean that you get the house.
Exactly. It's a process where the borrower can catch up, and many times they do. Sometimes borrowers are late. That's fine. That happens. Just like in conventional lending, we try to work with the borrower to get them caught up, and typically they do. Or they sell the property, or they're able to refinance. In the situations where we actually have to take those further steps, in the end, out of the 1,200 loans we've done, we've had 6 foreclosures, but 0 losses. So that's important for our listeners and investors to understand. It's just because you're taking a property back does not mean that there's a loss. First of all, again, going back to the loan to value, 56%, or these other specific cases, they may have been higher or lower. Sure. But there's a lot of equity built into it. So some investors actually like the fact that you're taking a property back and selling it because you actually can sell it for more than what the loan amount is. So there's profit to be made, but we're not in the business of foreclosing.
Yeah.
We want to just exit, that borrower to exit into a lower rate long-term loan, and we provide that short-term solution.
And the more conservative your fund, the less likely you'll have a default, because nobody wants to default on it. Using your percentages as an example, they own $1 million house and it's 56% loan to value. The odds are they're not going to walk away from that much equity.
Correct, and a lot of the loans we make are short-term. We were talking about bridge loans earlier, so there's a high turnover of loans in our portfolio, which we like.
You don't get caught up in interest rate risk or as much of the economy risk, because a lot of people don't realize that. They talk about the real estate crash. It didn't actually crash. It took a number of months or even years to actually decline.
Exactly.
Unlike when the stock market actually crashed like it did in '87. I mean, boom, 25% overnight.
Right, and it would have to crash significantly with respect to the loans in our fund, because again, with a low under 60% LTV, you're talking about 40% correction.
Plus, you have since you have a number of assets in the fund, it's not just one.
Right.
So it's diversified over.
Right. We have about 85 loans in the fund right now.
This is almost like a mini mutual fund, so to speak. But instead of stocks, it's real estate mortgages.
Yep.
7.5%. I like that. Okay. Here's our another trivia question. And this one's hard. I never heard of this one. What is the 5-letter name for a young dog? I've never heard this term before, so this is a hard one. For me, it was hard. 888-912-1190. And you will, if you're the first caller with the correct answer, you'll win the tanning certificate, or as Tom pointed out, he wants the Jim Guys one. All right, don't touch that dial. The best of investing will be right back.
Okay, so there's a 5-letter word for a female dog.
Yeah, well, I know.
I'm trying to hold that one back.
Yeah,
5-letter word for
Did you
a-
mean
no.
bitch?
No. That's
Okay.
Did you mean-
different.
Right. Well, I didn't say
Puppy?
it. See how I restrained
You were
myself
very
there?
good
Wait, what was the question again? 5-letter word
for a young dog.
Hard money is really interesting because nobody really understands it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We have some that
No,
were
it's
actually.
puppy. You're right. It's puppy. It's gotta be puppy. It's a 5-letter word for a young dog. It's puppy. I'm not gonna answer. I don't want the prize.
You can say puppy.
But you know what? I'll get you that certificate from the gym guy.
No, that's.
No, seriously, because the thing is, I want to let them know that it's being used. 'Cause, I mean, it's actually kind of neat. You don't have to go to a gym.
Yeah.
They actually have all the equipment. They come to you, and then you don't have to worry about if you're embarrassed or something, or you just don't want people to see
You know what? Okay, so have them pull up to our office, and then if there's windows, I want to work out so that everyone can see me pump and iron.
There you go. That works.
He's got major pecs. That's why.
Yeah, I'll wear.
I was
my,
just saying
tank
they'll
top
yeah that'll work. They'll do a home office wherever you want.
and parachute pants.
Hard money. We talk all day because people just don't understand. It's
You
so
know,
useful, and there's so many scenarios where a successful person who has money needs that. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not like I couldn't get a loan, so I need to get a hard money loan.
Some of the smartest people.
I got one when I did my renovation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's kind of get into that. Okay. Just letting us know when you have to leave because it's stay a little bit. All right, here we go.
I've got time.
Welcome back to the best of investing. Edward Brown here, along with Phan. Here was our third trivia question. What is the 5-letter name for a young dog?
Puppy.
No. Whelp. WHELP. Have you ever heard of that?
Well, I think that puppy actually satisfies that question. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
loophole here.
There's
that-
two answers.
We're gonna have
That's
to
true.
have a formal
No,
disagreement.
I've never heard of a whelp.
2 mobile gym.
Yeah,
businesses.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, you know what? If whoever called with the word puppy, that works for me too. But if you answered whelp, you get a personal phone call from me saying, "Congratulations, that was an excellent answer." All right, so off the air, Jason, you were talking a little hard money there with Nam. Why don't you ask him?
I was just telling him that I didn't think a lot of people understood how hard money works and why you would do it.
I mean, you
Like,
think
I got one.
you go, you got to be a risky borrower. All right, I mean, if the bank's not willing to lend them, it's got to be risky.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the case.
Yeah, there's some very savvy people out there who really understand hard money and just use it to leverage acquiring assets.
Yeah, I can give you 2 examples in my daily life. I inherited a house. I had to buy my brother-in-law's out, right? So you had a loan on that, but I wanted to renovate the home, so you can't do a cash-out refi for 6 months because that's just the way the rules are.
Gotcha.
But I didn't want to wait 6 months to renovate it because I wanted to move my family in before the school year ended. So I got a hard money loan to do my renovation. It cost me money. It was 20 grand or so, but it was worth it for me because it got me into the house when I wanted to get into the house. It was a bridge loan on the renovation, if you will.
That's
and
good.
then I have a client who's really successfully flipping homes right now. This is an investment show, right? So she gets hard money loans for the entire price of the home plus the renovation costs. So she buys a house for $700,000, but she gets a hard money loan for $900,000. Does the renovation with the $200,000? She's making cash offers. Right? We're talking about is cash
Yeah,
king.
but who's going to lend her $900,000 on a $700 purchase price?
Nom.
Does she have assets?
She must have some other assets. There's no way he's going to make her because that's not.
Well, no, it's a product that some hard money lenders have. It's a
No,
flipping
but I
product.
mean, Pacific Private Money doesn't lend $900,000 on a $700,000 purchase unless there's extra houses that are put up as collateral.
Yeah, sometimes we'll call. Well, there are situations where if it's a proven investor flipper, where there might be exceptions made, but generally we are going to look for collateral that we can cross. But yeah, it's rare. Somebody like that might have built up a really strong reputation and
Yeah, but what happens if something goes wrong?
Well, what she does is she gives them all the numbers and all the comps, and here's what I'm going to do. I don't know. She's getting these loans. She's done it multiple times here in Marin. I have a cool Eichler coming up in a couple of months that she's doing right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is happening. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So she's a
But
student.
so she's into these deals for zero.
That's correct.
Can I borrow money from her?
Actually, I don't know if she had maybe
I wanna get on her
20%. She had she had a down payment for the first one.
Yeah.
But they loaned her more than the purchase price.
She probably represents the top tier sort of fix and flip, somebody who's built that ability to get that kind of capital on reputation. There are a lot of fix and flippers that are, have a track record, but probably have to use some sort of collateral to get a loan.
I would think so.
For a purchase like that. But
I don't know too many companies that lend 100% and more than 100% of the purchase, as well as all of the rehab money. Because what's to stop her from kind of going, you know what, this isn't working out the way I thought it would. See ya.
Right.
Yeah, that's possible, definitely. But
well, and I may have misspoke when I said 100%. What I meant is that they offer more than the purchase price, but she still probably has 10 or 20% down, depending on.
Gotcha.
I don't remember. I think she had. I don't remember what the down payment was on the first one. I know that the second and third, she definitely had at least 20% down. It wasn't 25, I don't think, like a normal investment loan, but they lend her past the purchase price for sure.
Gotcha.
I'd commend her for being able to do that. I mean, being able to build a robust business and being able to execute on a plan like that. So that is a good example of what private money can do.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily what we would do, but there are quite a few people out there who really know how to leverage private money. So they're very astute, and a lot of those are the investors who acquire properties. The other half are those borrowers who are coming to us because of transactional distress, which we talk about all the time. It's not necessarily the borrower's fault, it's circumstances. And that's where, to your point, Jason, there are so many different uses for private money. We do presentations all the time to realtor organizations. And in fact, I did one earlier this week to a mortgage association. And people come up afterwards and said, wow, I didn't know that you could do that. And here are these people who have been in the mortgage, the lending business forever. Now, their world is A paper. So they don't necessarily understand what Plan B or non-A paper can do. So you have to tell people you have to be story driven when you're.
Well, you haven't had a chance to give out your information to people, let's say, are looking for loans.
Mm-hmm. So to reach us, you can call us 415-883-2150, or you can go to our website, which is www.pacificprivatemoney.com. We're in downtown Novato, and we also have information sessions for the investor side. And just before the end of the show, I'd like to talk about the next one we have coming up, which is next Wednesday.
Yeah, I was going to say that because I wanted to ask you about the fund, a little bit more about it with regard to, if someone invests, how do they get their money out?
Yeah.
So tell us about this webinar that you're doing.
Yeah, so we hold quarterly webinars, and the next one is Wednesday, June 28th, from 5 to 6 p.m. If you'd like to register for it, you can just call in, 415-883-2150, and it's Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. We talk about how the fund works, why we can make loans to borrowers, get the high return, and how that return is something that our investors can take advantage of.
So again, regarding the fund, if I invest $100,000, what is the minimum?
Minimum is two criteria. You have to be accredited. So we're a Reg D fund, so you have to have $1 million net worth, exclusive of your primary residence, and then minimum investment is $50,000.
Okay. So if I invest $50,000, how do I get out? If I one day wake up and I say, hey, I want to get out of this thing.
And so there's a minimum lockup period of 12 months. That's by regulation required. But otherwise, it's on a first-come, first-served basis. So if you want to redeem your investment, contact us.
And how would you provide that liquidity?
We either can sell notes out of the fund, a loan could pay off. We have other investors who invest. So there's typically some liquidity. But the more time you give us, the better. On average, it takes about 2 to 4 weeks to redeem an investor if they want to.
Has there ever been a problem with redeeming?
No. In fact, most of the time we're redeeming in about a week's time. We have very few investors redeeming.
Well, if you're paying 7.5% to 8%, I can see why.
Yeah, and one of the stories that came out earlier this week, and I think it was Biz Now, was the baby boomers looking at real estate as their retirement strategy.
Yeah, when we come back from our break, I'd like to hear more about that. I'm sure the audience would too. About say that again. What were you talking about?
Yeah, boomers looking to real estate for their retirement, investing in real estate.
Ah, okay. So I guess the cash flow that comes from the
absolutely.
Because they're not going to be necessarily flippers themselves, probably.
No, they're holders and positive cash flow.
Yeah, not the flipper side. It would be the fund investments.
Jason, I understand that you're going to have to leave us, so thank you very much. Again, one more time, how do people get a hold of you if they have some questions about real estate?
Sure, Jason Holmes, Holmes, with Holmes Burrell Real Estate. My cell phone's 415-686-0589. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Who's Burrell?
Aaron Burrell is my business partner.
There you go. I figured if it's Holmes Burrell, there's got to be. Hey, you know what? I just realized the name Holmes, and you're selling houses. That's pretty good.
There's been a.
Did you change your name just for that?
There's been a strong urge to have cheesy slogans, but I've restrained.
Good for you.
Thank you. It's been hard.
And good for us too. And with that note, we're going to say bye to Jason, and don't touch that dial because the best investing is going to be right back with Nam explaining to us about how baby boomers, when they retire, are looking to income and they could be using real estate. Don't touch that dial. The best of investing. We'll be right back. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can stick around if you want.
Yeah, you
but,
can stick around. I mean, I know you
one
said
last
you had
segment.
some time, so, or I mean, you had an appointment.
Yeah, I gotta be somewhere at 5, so I gotta
Okay.
take off. Sorry, I ran into the hard money loan that you don't do.
No, that's okay.
I mean, you know what? We just care about doing good radio. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Works
okay.
out, it's
That's
fine.
fine. That's totally.
I'll invite you to her open house. Yeah, she uses full hard money. Her carrying costs are insane. So, like, I'll find her a property that is just so good. Like, if you put 200 grand in, you're gonna make 400 grand. I mean, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Her last project was in Santa Venetia. You know Santa Venetia.
Yeah.
I sold a 1,400 square foot house in Santa Venetia for $1.1 million.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was
It was
so
on
far
Mendola.
ahead of any comp. It wasn't even close. Oh, and of course it appraised, right? But because it was a good appraiser, he brought it in at market.
Yeah.
But we blew away all records. I told her maybe 900. Even at 900, though, she should have made 200 grand. But she barely made any money because it took so long because it's a flood zone, and in a flood zone, it takes 6 months to get any kind of permits, and there's all kinds of regulations, a pain in the neck. So she carried it for 6 months longer than she wanted to, and she had no. I mean, she still made some money.
Yeah.
But her investors look at it and like, whoa, look what she did. She bought it for 5, she sold it for 1.1. But because of all of the hard money fees that she paid, and then the penalties for going past the time she said she would pay it off, because that's part of the way they structure these flip loans. They're like flip loans, is what they're called.
She must be. Was she using FJM?
Somebody in LA, but I know that Searchlight Lending does them right here in San Rafael. They do tons of like commercial, business, and hard money.
Searchlight. That's right.
Chris Pyro is the broker. They're literally right across the street.
Okay.
So what other good real estate deals do you have that we can all make good money doing?
Jason knows everything. So.
Well, I mean, if you want to flip a home, it's easy to find a house to flip in all markets, in my opinion.
If you find something, in Marin here,
Edward's a very astute investor as well with us.
also looking for. I mean, my wife would love a project like that.
I mean, you almost can't miss because, especially like the Eichlers and Terra Linda, you can get the fixers are 800 grand. The ones that are fixed up are $1.3 million, $1.4 million.
But okay, so in Eichler, you have some limitations because of the neighborhood and what you're allowed to do.
Not anymore.
Really? They finally took that. I
Yeah,
know one guy.
Terra Linda or Marin or Lucas Valley.
The one she's doing now is in Terra Linda. I'm gonna sell for $1.3 million for sure. 1,700 square foot Eichler. She bought it for $8 million.
Oh, okay.
There's just no way. Like people
Is
will
she
afford
putting
that.
high-end stuff in it?
It doesn't have to be an Eichler. That's just an
No,
example.
she's putting high-end.
Oh yeah, she puts a lot of money into it. It's sweet. She does like a nano door. It opens the wall. There's got to be a view. This one in Las Colinas is gonna be sick. She's taking out. It's already
what's
molded glass.
What's your address?
I don't know, something like Las Colinas.
Because I lived on Las Colinas.
I lived on
It's Las Colinas.
Oh, Las Colinas.
Las Colinas is not a good street. The flip on is too busy. It has to be. You have to have a view. You have to have a flat lot. You have to have a good school district. Although not in Santa Venetia. We have a waterfront, so it doesn't matter. But you need something special about the property. If it's something special and you make it super current and awesome, and those people from the city and the kids that are in tech companies and have like $2-3 million in stock options, they just don't care, man. If it's ready to move in and it looks nice, like on TV, they will buy it for an insane price.
Okay, well, keep me in mind for something in Marin.
Maybe you should go to my website and register.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
No, send me. I think I have your email.
Yeah,
I have your email. I'll email you.
Yeah, email me. You already said.
Thanks, man. That's
Thank
great.
you.
I'd like
Absolutely.
to have you on again. So
That was fun.
That was fun.
I told you. I mean, for me, it's passion. It's fun. I can
Yeah.
talk real estate for days.
Yeah, I know. You did a good job.
you know
All
your
right.
stuff. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah. Right, we have 5 minutes. What do you want to cover?
I'll cover really quickly the boomer look to real estate.
Oh yeah, that's right. So that's why we're doing this. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Phan of Pacific Private Money. That was a good guest you had on there, Jason.
Yeah, Jason and I go back quite a few years, and just a very, very solid, high integrity realtor. And
Seems
he knows
to know
the
his
market.
stuff. Yeah, he does know his stuff. So, Nam, before we cut to the break, you were going to explain about the baby boomers using real estate.
Yeah, I came across this article earlier this week. It was in BizNow, and the title of the article is "Baby or Boomers Look to Real Estate to Afford Retirement," and it starts out with saying as many as 10,000 baby boomers retire daily, which is incredible. It's hard to think about 10,000 people retiring daily, but it goes on later on to say that about 30% of baby boomers have no retirement savings, and 1/4 have less than 50,000 saved, according to research by GoBankingRates.com. So what they're doing is a lot of them are moving their investments from the stock market, where they may have a 401k or IRA that's paying very, very little.
Okay.
And they're looking at real estate funds. Some of them may be doing, like we were talking about during the break, fix and flips. But a lot of them are moving to funds. They don't want to think about it. They want their money working for them all the time. So,
well, there's also certain rules that if it's in a retirement vehicle.
yes, exactly. So the article also goes to mention that people are moving their IRAs from a custodian that won't allow direct investment in funds like ours and other funds into self-directed programs, which there are hundreds of self-directed custodians out there, in order to invest directly in a real estate fund.
All right.
So they're looking for higher yields, and they're looking at the fact that they're retiring, and their current retirement strategy is just not working out. And we see that all the time. A lot of these events that we have, the webinar that we mentioned in the earlier segment, are people who are on the cusp of retiring, and they're just not getting the returns that they want. And that's been the case for the last, in my experience with Pacific Private Money, the last year and a half. We see that all the time.
And I know one of the reasons why you guys have been so successful is the fact that it's almost like coupon flipping. People don't have to think about it.
Right.
Tenants, toilets, repairs, and all that stuff.
Exactly. And, we give them, as I mentioned earlier, they get access to the portfolio of properties that are in the fund. And the majority of the loans we make and the properties that are in the fund are Bay Area.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about what you do is the fact that if I invest with, which I have, invested in the fund, getting a 7.5% to 8% return today is really fair. I mean, it's more than fair. It's very good. And if something goes wrong, then the asset that I potentially could have purchased, I would get at 60. I'm thinking like from the fund standpoint.
Right.
The fund ends up getting the same asset that it lent on, but it gets it at a much lower price.
Right.
So in the meantime, it collects its 7, 8, 9% interest. So it doesn't get the upside that the appreciation gets for the borrower. But on the flip side, it's okay to
it's consistent. They don't have to think about it, and it's been stable.
Well, give out your information one more time.
Sure. Our website is www.pacificprivatemoney.com. Phone number is 415-883-2150. And also, again, I'd like to mention that we have a webinar coming up next week, Wednesday, June 28th, 5 to 6 p.m. Call us, and we'll register you for it.
That was a webinar. You also do some in-person ones.
Yes. So we hold in-person ones for locals, for people in Marin who are okay making the drive to Novato. The next one will be in July, the end of the month.
End of the month. Okay, July. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much for joining us yet again. Thoughts for the day. Jackie Joyner Kersey said, "Age is no barrier. It's a limitation you put on your mind." And Muhammad Ali said, "It isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you out. It's the pebble in your shoe." I like that. Tune in next week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
Cool.
Good.
Good. So yeah,